start 12:01, so I will go ahead and turn it over to our guest this afternoon, Jennifer, and I think I saw Dawn in here as well.
Yeah, Jana Lee was gonna join in. She was just gonna kind of give an overview of the program, is what we kind of talked about last week. I don't know if she's joined yet.
So,
Sorry, I was just eating.
Yeah, we just all got back from drug court conference, so we came back to work just being on fire. So I'm like, oh, I hope we're ready for this. I think it'll be a pretty generic overview is when I talk to Jana Lee about the court program and how people get in, what services we offer, who's on the team. It's kind of what we talked about.
Okay.
But she might just be running from court. I don't know.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you guys have any questions that we could possibly answer until Jana comes on?
Oh, I think I see her. Do I need to admit them? It popped up on my thing when I think you added me.
Let me check the participants here.
I see Jana Lee in the waiting room and Mike, my other staff, and Kaylee. I mean, I could admit him if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, I think I meant to make you co-host, but I made you the full host. So
I think so too. It just popped up. I was like, oh.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Waiting room. So I hit admit. Oh, I got to do them each individually.
She's in there.
Okay, I'm doing it. There's about 4.
Hey, Jen, do you know how I could share my screen on Zoom?
Yeah, let me.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is down below.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he'll make you the co-host so you can have access to that.
Okay. I have the meeting open twice, so I'm going to leave one and hopefully I'm doing this right.
Oh.
I think she ended the video one.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is.
There we go.
Mute. Okay. I'll get it. I promise. Just let me know when you want me to start.
Yeah, you can go ahead and get started. I made you co-host, so you
Okay.
should be able to share your screen with everybody.
All right, cool. So my name's Jana Lee Wheatman. I am the program manager for our Marion County Family Treatment Court called Fostering Attachment Treatment Court, short for FATC. I know I've had some CASA representatives in our treatment court who have been invited by the participants. And the reason why I encourage our participants to invite you is so that they can show off how well they're doing in our program. But it is an invite only. And I do that because I want our participants to feel safe to share it's their journey, their recovery. And so I leave that up to them. I'm going to share my screen. And so I'll go over some PowerPoints about fostering attachment, and then I'll leave it for Jennifer and Dawn to talk more about their role in fostering attachment. So.
Don't leave out Mike. He's here too.
Oh, I don't see him. Hey, Mike. Good. I'm glad you're here. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. How do I know that it's even? So you see the fostering attachment treatment court FATC?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not in presentation mode though. Right. Button there.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
At least for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me know. So our eligibility criteria, you need to have an active dependency case, have a need for substance use treatment, jurisdiction is established through the court, live in Marion County, and have your children placed in Marion County. It's a transportation issue, and we want to make sure that our parents have easy access to their children for services. We have had some cases where the children live outside of Marion County, but we make sure that they have transportation into Marion County for services, and that isn't a barrier. Currently, our participant population for the 23-25 grant period, we've served 37 participants. 19% are Hispanic, 81% are non-Hispanic participants. We've had 27% males and 73% females. Our age group is 24% between 18 and 24, 46% between 25 and 34, and 30% between the ages of 34 and 44. We can serve up to 25 to 30 participants, and we're currently serving 9 participants. We have struggled with referrals since COVID. It's kind of been on a downward spiral. Fentanyl has increased in Marion County, and 5 years ago, we were dealing with methamphetamine, and methamphetamine has had a different kind of hold on our participants. We still got them to engage. Fentanyl, there's been a real struggle to get parents to engage in the very beginning. And so that is something that we're still working on. Fostering attachment referrals, exiting and graduating. So between 2023 and 2025, we've had 50 referrals submitted. 36 were accepted, 4 were denied, 10 the participant declined entry, and we have had 2 graduates so far. We've had 1 person completed but did not graduate, and this is where they get up to the 5th level. We've supplied them with all the necessary parenting programs. Their child's been reunited with them. We've assisted them in obtaining a job. They had housing through us, and then their attorney wants to close the case because they've met all the safety issues. And so we closed their case and called it completed without graduating, because they didn't want to wait out the time before they were going to be able to graduate. It would have been another, I think, a month and a half. Self-terminate and terminate is a combination. There's been 29. We have run into issues where the participant in between levels 4 and 5, they get everything they need and then they're just done. They don't want to complete. And so that's where we see a lot of self-termination. Terminate, it's really hard. It takes a lot for us to terminate on someone, but if they're just not engaged and we put them on a 30-day performance program contract and they're violating continuously by not attending services, not submitting UAs, then we need to terminate due to the lack of engagement. What does fostering attachment provide? Quick access to assessments for substance use and mental health, parenting classes based on adult and adolescent parenting inventory assessment. We do that pre and post. We provide nurturing parenting, active parenting, and making parenting a pleasure classes, housing assistance. We help them with their turnaround letter if they've been denied, and team support letters. Renters classes, and we assist with moving costs. And then we help them either, if they don't have a diploma, we help them obtain a GED. And then if they do have their diploma, we assist them in obtaining work. So we help them create or update resumes, obtain interview attire or work essential clothing and items. And then we provide parent-child therapy and individual therapy. Quicker placement of children with parents. We provide them the stable housing and the start of substance use treatment so that we can get their children returned to them quicker. Now, there are other factors that can delay this, but overall, our program is quick for return. Team support in breaking down barriers and frequent in-person contact with the judge providing over their dependency case. This is a really neat thing about our program is that they can actually create a relationship with the judge, and the judge can see their highs and their lows and how they're overcoming barriers, instead of only seeing the judge every 3, 6, 9 months, and then at the end of the permanency hearing. And they get maybe 5 minutes to speak to the judge, and the majority of what is being reported is through a DHS court report, instead of them reporting their successes to the judge themselves. So this is a great way for them to show their progress with the judge that's presiding over their dependency case. And then the 2 barriers that we have with our participants in the program is finding suitable daycare and housing. And so that is, and then our funding comes from the Criminal Justice Commission, and that is a grant application that I apply for every year and a half. And then it comes from the legislation through general session or general funding. We sometimes use federal funds, but I would say maybe 2% of the time. I've been here since 2016, and there was only 1 year that we used federal funds. So our funding comes from the general funds. And that's all I have for you. So I will stop sharing and let Jennifer, Dawn, and Michael tell you about their roles and a little bit about our program.
Do you want to start, Dawn and Mike, and then I'll go?
Okay. I mean, if I miss something, then Mike can jump in. But so Mike and I are both perm workers through child welfare that sit on the Fostering Attachment Treatment Court program. All of the cases that come into fostering attachment after they complete phase 1 get transferred over to me and Mike. So we're at court every Wednesday. The 3rd Wednesday of the month, we go to roadmaps, and then I think it's like 3 times a year, there's a steering committee, talk about ways to improve the program, stuff like that. So basically, I mean, kind of like Jenny said in her slide, we are in front of the judge every single week. The 1st, the 2nd, and the 4th weeks we have court, and then depending on their levels on how often they come. And so we manage their cases, and we manage their cases with we have drug and alcohol on the team, we have mental health on the team, we have housing on the team, we have Iron Tribe on the team. There's me and Mike, the judge, Janely. There's an attorney on the team. It's Andy, he's our AG. And then we have Catherine Trotman, who is part of the consortium that sits on the team. So then she can relay things to their attorneys and stuff about like any concerns that are coming up and stuff like that. But for me and Mike, I mean, we manage a case like most caseworkers that you work with. We're just in court and in front of the judge a lot. So judge gets to know them, he gets to know us, he gets to know like if there's any concerns that come up. They get to find that out instead of waiting for 3 to 4 months when we're going to have a hearing. It comes up through fostering. It'll come up through us if there's a concern, through the clients if they have a concern or a need. So things get caught pretty early on, instead of, most cases that you guys see or that you're attached to, you're going to, the 4-month and then the 9-month and then the perm. So you've got months in between. Although you're talking with a caseworker, nothing's being said in front of a judge until you go to those hearings and that court reports, those get sent in. So judge gets to hear everything that's going on almost on a weekly basis. I would say, like Janely's slide said, housing is an extreme barrier right now. It's an extreme barrier for anybody, whether you're in this program or not. We don't have like an apartment complex that we just move our clients into. They have to get housing just like everybody else does that comes in here, and that's getting on wait lists. And FUP vouchers are available, Oxford House interviews, Soaring Height interviews. We just encourage them to continue to go to those interviews and keep doing them. There is a website with the Oxford House listings. It says when there's openings. Janely does really good about sending out those emails to the people that need housing about, hey, there's an opening, the interview's this day, this time, go to it. But I mean, I think that's really, all
And
it is.
I can send everyone. I sent Jennifer a brochure of fostering attachment. So hopefully that was sent to everyone. And then I can also send out our handbook. Our policy manual is still in draft form. I'm still working on that.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have a manual. It's pretty thick, goes through all the phases and everything.
Very
It tells
detailed.
you like your clean time that you need, stuff you should be accomplishing on each phase as you go through. So that'd be good for you guys to read, to at least see like where their steps is, what they have to accomplish at that level to be able to move up. So, but yeah, housing is a barrier. But I think overall we have a pretty good team with the needs of the people that sit on that team to help out. We're all throwing out suggestions and, what could help and who to look for and stuff like that. So it really does benefit to have a participant in there. And as Jan Lee said, like typically you can get your kids home faster. And that's not just because you can get your kids home faster because you're in fostering, but you're doing the work as a participant to get in there and start doing your treatment and your mental health and, all of the stuff that you're required to do. You're required to do that outside of fostering as well, but in fostering, you have a drive to get through this program. And most people who can go through the whole program. I've sat on this program since early 2000 and what was it, 14. I've come off a couple times. But always it's been, if you can get through the program, graduate it, we don't see you come back. Those are the ones that that have put up that foundation and worked those skills and building that you can say goodbye to at the end of this program. We don't have a lot of people that graduate and come back, at least that I haven't seen. And for the time that I've been on it on and off throughout the years, I think I've only had one. So it is a pretty good program. Still working on a way to build it up and get people back engaged into the program. But overall, I think it's wise for people to at least give it a shot and see, what they can get out of it. And if you're ready to start making changes, get your kids back, change your foundation, then this is a program that can help you do it.
And if I can interject real quick, Dawn started talking about it. It's about changing that life cycle and the cycle of going through criminal into dependency, and it's never ending and it's generational. It's about doing the really hard work and committing to yourself and your family. And for some, they're just not ready for that. So it's not just about having your dependency case closed. It's actually about doing the hard work and stopping the cycle.
Correct. Did I
Michael?
miss anything, Mike?
Yeah, Don, you kind of nailed everything I wanted to say, especially with the team approach. I think one of the things that really helps with our participants is if they have a DHS case, when they join the fostering program, they have a whole team of people there to help them. And so if we have a problem, now we've just opened that issue up to collaborate with many other professionals that can help us navigate. Like, we've had some participants with some really tough navigational challenges in the past, and bringing that team together, we get good ideas when we share that. And I had another thought I just lost. Hopefully it'll come back to me, but I think it's just really helped us, as caseworkers too, to have those extra resources for ourselves to help and those participants. Generally, what were you just saying? Because I had a thought and I lost it, completely lost it.
I was talking about doing the hard work and actually putting in the hard work to stop that cycle. And sometimes parents are just not ready to do that hard work. And it's not just about crossing T's and dotting I's.
Yeah, I think that's where I was going with it, is the accountability that parents have is that they have to put in that hard work, and we see a lot of change with them. And I've kind of that's like my little statement I've said to parents, is that I kind of look at our program in a way as an after DHS life simulator, because they're going to have appointments, they're going to have schedules, they're going to have schedule chaos, they're going to have unexpected things pop up in their life and they get frustrated in this process. But I said, when DHS isn't in your life and you're in your life anymore and this program is not in your life, you're still going to have things that pop up in life. So now it's the time to learn how to navigate those challenges and those stressors while you have that help. And we're here to be kind of a safety net for you. So we really like to remind parents of that. Is yeah, this program can definitely have some challenges, but now it's the time to work through those with those help and learn how to prepare yourself and build that foundation for when we close out our case and they move on with life, then they're prepared for like challenges and struggles that they may have. And we always remind them that we're always here even after the case is closed and beyond, that if they have struggles and need help, they can reach back out and connect with us. And we do look at our program, and our participants and graduates as family, and they know they can always come back and still have that support and connect with us if needed.
And I'll just add, I'm Jennifer Live, and I supervise both Mike and Dawn. And I think for me, just with this type of audience, is you guys get to see cases on this, their 6-month reviews. And sometimes in the beginning of cases, parents just aren't ready. They've had CPS come in and, take the children into substitute care, whatever it may be. They're already just overwhelmed. And so sometimes it hits the courts, radar that, oh, this might be a good fit. And then we try and get our workforce to follow up with it and keep that seed planted, because maybe they're not ready at month 3, but maybe when they hit the CRB review and you're like, gosh, this might be a good program for this parent. We really rely on everyone to kind of know what's out there so we can keep that alive. Even if a parent's 30 days clean and they're like, gosh, I want help. So we just want to lose those referrals throughout the months. So if you ever see a case you're reviewing, you're like, this feels like a good referral, put it on our radar. I mean, I don't know how that would work, but through your recommendations or whatever, if you're allowed to do that, we would appreciate it, because I think that we need to keep the conversation alive to get more referrals and support people when they're truly, truly ready, because that's when they're going to be the most successful.
I'm working really hard on making it to where it's mandatory between shelter and settlement for those participants to actually come and observe fostering, because I truly believe there's a difference between just talking about a program than actually coming, sitting, and observing it being played out. That's still a work in progress, and I'm really pushing for that.
Does anyone have any questions? I guess that's a lot of information. Hi, Rick.
Hi. So I just want to make sure I understand what this program is exactly. So I guess I got like 3 questions. First one is, like, what is your mission statement? What is your real purpose? Which is probably obvious, but I just hear you say that. What parents are a good fit for your program? Like, so what are you trying to accomplish? I'm assuming the parents maybe have to have some kind of substance abuse. And another question is, does your program replace a standard drug treatment program? I guess those are my questions. So if you wouldn't mind just kind of, my last one was, could you maybe just walk us through a typical client, how they go through all your steps, what typically would happen from beginning to graduation?
So I'm putting our mission statement in here. If I can get it in here, we'll have to do it this way.
While she's doing that, I'll just make a quick plug about the treatment part of it. What I see on my side is we have Bridgeway on our team, and it's a requirement to switch over to Bridgeway when you join. And I mean, you'll hear about different treatment programs out there, and there's some that are really workable with the agency and some that are not. And Bridgeway is one of our partners that really communicates well. We safety plan. If there's an in-home plan, we're catching things if there's, violations, so we can try and preserve the in-home plan. But there's just lots of treatment options out there now. It's grown. So it's whether the parent will truly want to switch over. And that's where Jenna Lee kind of, once they observe, she can start chatting with them about the benefits of switching to the
So
team because they're at the
so
table.
that's one of the requirements. The parents have a substance issue.
Yeah.
Abuse problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the eligibility requirement is you have an open DHS case, court has jurisdiction, you need substance use issue, or you have a substance use issue and need treatment, and
Okay.
that you live in Marion County.
Okay.
And the living in Marion County just makes it to where, for funding purposes and also easy access to services. And our team is a collaboration of best practices is 2 providers. So one's mental health and one's substance use, and they're on the team and attending staffing, court sessions, and team meetings and steering committee meetings, and going to All Rise conference with other specialty court treatment professionals. And so you get ongoing training in specialty courts. And then
Okay.
our goal and our mission is to stop the cycle of going through the justice system. And so our mission is based on core values: child safety, collaboration, accountability, respect, diversity, self-sufficiency, with a commitment to families' recovery and sustained instability. So it's about making someone to where they relearn those life skills. And some of our participants have never learned how to clean a room, make healthy meals, budget
Okay.
their money, make it on time to appointments, make appointments for their children, make sure their children are getting the necessary health medical appointments that they need. And so these are like basic life skills that we teach them. They're provided at the time of orientation an organizational bag that has a pen, a handbook, accordion file for all their dependency paperwork, so they have it in one place instead of having boxes of paper or not knowing where any of their paperwork is. A planner, we teach them how to use a planner. So we a whiteboard, so they write the hotline number on there, they write what appointments are coming up, so that it's every morning they see exactly what they have to do for that day, because they lived in chaos and don't know what structure is. And so we provide structured days for them filled with services.
So, Rick, just to answer quickly about your drug and alcohol thing, we're just a team. So, child welfare sits on the team, drug and alcohol sits on the team, mental health, like we're all individual, but we come and wrap around our clients. So, this program doesn't take away drug and alcohol. You have to participate in drug and alcohol. And it's through Bridgeway. It's a reputable, you can go to Bridgeway and do it. So, we don't take that away, and it's the program that's doing it. The program is the team that sits on this program.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so it's not like we have our own treatment that they're going to. We do send them, Jenna Lee sends them in like, I don't know what, 10 times a month to take UAs. So we have a contract through our program that they go take UAs for. Bridgeway still does it, but I mean, it's best practice to do it frequently and randomly. So they get codes that they call in every day. And if their code comes up, they have to go take a UA. But we don't, if you're looking at the fostering attachment as a whole, it's just the wraparound program. And then individually, as professionals, sit on that team to wrap around these people that are going through the program.
How long does the program take?
If you were to be green every single week, not a blips in your recovery, anything, I believe if it's still the same, you could be completed in about 10 and a half and 11 months. To truly get through it, it is taking people at least anywhere from a good year to year and a half.
Okay.
12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I think I understand what you're doing now. So instead of just someone going into foster care, they get into a drug treatment program and they're in a way kind of on their own to get through that, that your program basically gets more, like you said, you have a
Hands-on.
team that's working with the person and making sure that they stay engaged. You're giving them other services like parenting skills and life
Correct.
style type of stuff. Yeah, that sounds really
Yeah,
good.
there are definitely, like Jenny listed the parenting classes that we do through fostering, but then there are us also on mine and Mike's end, the other parenting classes that we can put them in. Like I went through Bridges to Success and had a parent in an intensive parenting class outside of all the other ones that they do, making parenting a pleasure and seeking safety and that inside our program. We can still refer and put them in other classes that meet more where their needs are independently, because each case is differently. Like, I mean, yes, it's trauma, it's neglect, it's, some people don't need more parenting, some people do need more parenting. So we still, as caseworkers, have those options for the community partners that we work with to still put them in those as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and like for instance, Jana Lee's invited DD services. I mean, we
Mhm.
can expand bigger than the team because we do have more resources. But it's a team discussion and what's the best fix. We wouldn't want to overload them in like 4 parenting programs, right? So kind of where their timing is on things, or if we have a specialty referral we can do that the court doesn't have, but generally finds ways to get things done. So we still have our obligation as ODHS to utilize all services. We just don't restrict to what's on the team, but it's a big team.
Okay, so my last question would be, it seems like almost every parent who's in the foster care system who's got a substance abuse problem would benefit from your program, but you don't have everybody in your program, obviously. So what parents do you think would be the best fit?
Parents with substance use treatment that need substance use issues.
Well, that's lots and lots of cases, isn't it?
Right, and they also need to want to engage. So a matter of having them engage and show up is huge. So I'm asking for funding in our next grant period to have an Iron Tribe mentor on our team so that in phase 1 and 2, I can have them do the grunt work on the ground, going to our participants' home, pulling them out of their home, getting them transportation, having them show up for assessments, having them show up for services, being that mentor that is assisting them with transportation and going
Right.
to their home and making sure that they're leaving and going to services.
Yeah.
Because
Breaking the cycle, basically. Like
yes, yes. Some
And
people find it hard to start, and it's about starting. And then when I do my referrals off of our add-on list, which is our shelter hearings, I'm sending them out to the parties that are listed on Odyssey. And so I send out my emails asking for their client to come and observe fostering attachment and then go from there, because I need to have a release of information signed, a fostering attachment release of information signed, so that I can reach out and really work on getting a referral submitted from the DHS caseworker.
Yeah, and I just
And
add. Oh,
and
go ahead.
there are times when I reach out to parties and they're like, I haven't seen this parent. They're not engaging. I don't know where they are. And so it's not a part of our eligibility that they have to be ready, because not everyone's ready for recovery, right? But they just need a little oomph.
Yeah, I think a good example. Yeah, like a good example too. We've talked about it, but I think we lose sight of some of these cases. Is say Janely sees them hit the shelter, desk, whatever. Oh, substance use. This would be a good participant. But then they go into like residential. They're motivated. Those parents would also be good to catch into the community when they've done their 30, 60, 90 days to wrap around them when they're back in this area. Because some caseworkers respond and say, oh, my client's in treatment down in Medford. okay, great, but when they're ready to discharge, this would be the perfect team if they're planning on coming to this area to catch them into the community and keep that motivation going. So if you ever
I would
see
like
those-
to get them even before they go to residential.
Yeah,
because
like
a lot of
parent-
times they come out of residential and they're like, I don't need your help. I got it.
Yeah, and I think that
When-
goes to the sorry, the name. I can't see the name. Doug's asking what's the primary reason people terminate, and I think that we can talk a little bit about, I mean, attorneys, involvement. You have your kid back, everything's great. You know, we've remedied the safety threat. Say we just have substance use on the petition. Well, they'll argue the legal nexus to it, but we're trying to encourage people to finish because that's where the real work, they dig in at the end and they're really, you know, into their recovery. That's where we want them to stay. But sometimes they consult with their attorneys and their attorneys are like, we'll argue at court. Well, they're, you know, 90 days clean. That's no longer a reason to be involved. And so they'll just ask to close their case, which is unfortunate because it would be awesome if they had that graduation and accomplishment under their belt when they do leave us and all the resources, because sometimes it's a lot when, you know, we don't go away. We're always kind of around, or the team is, to support them if the case closes. But those are the ones I think we see a repeat in DHS intervention, which is unfortunate. I mean, it happens from time to time. We'll see names pop up of prior FATC clients or referrals. So
Thank you.
if the case is closed due to attorneys and things like that, when they're out of that court, do their services stop or are they still working with DHS? Because I feel that's a big issue, right? For a lot of the parents that I work with, so their case closes and they've been getting all this help and all these resources. Does all of that help and resource all of a sudden just go away when the case closes?
So,
Oh.
I mean, as they're going through the program, they're going to graduate drug and alcohol and they won't have that anymore. Mental health, it'll get to a point that either they want lifelong mental health and they stay engaged in it or they don't. That's all OHP driven. They have some mentors, so like the WVP mentors, they can stay with them after their case closes, but like Morrison mentors, DHS contracts with them. So once that is our case is closed and we get stepped out, that has to close. So they won't have that mentor anymore. If there are services like their parenting services through Seeking or through Bridgeway or through mental health, because mental health does the Seeking Safety right now, those they can keep because it's all OHP billed. Anything that is attached to DHS when we close out closes on our end though.
So
And that includes the program.
You know, speaking out of turn, but for us, we are advocating for the child, right? So if they're in the court and it stops, so any services that the child is getting possibly stops, or is that a whole separate issue?
No,
So
most of the services that the children get are all attached to their OHP. So all of those services can continue. If they're doing therapy, parenting, PCIT, any of that stuff with the child, it's all through their OHP. So those can all continue. We're not contracting out for any of those. The only thing that will close are the contracts that we pay out for parents. And typically by the end of fostering, most of their stuff has died down to where they're just taking UAs. They're showing up to court. It's really at the tail end of everything to just really graduate them. And that's like if you have so many clean days and so like if you're in phase 5, the last 5 weeks of that phase, you have to be green to graduate that. And have your clean time, and then they can graduate. So at the end of the program, you know, things are coming off your plate, but in the beginning of the program, there's a lot of things. And we may look at that and be like, they're not working, they have these services. If we cut that down, 2 things in their day could seem very overwhelming to them because before in their addiction, all they're doing is waking up and thinking, where am I going to get my next fix? So if you add a couple things on to that, they feel overwhelmed already, you know. So generally giving them a planner and a calendar and having them write that down so they can visually see, like, you've got all this time. And then as they work, they build those skills and they learn how to navigate that stuff and add in things. And not everything seems so overwhelming. But to your thing, none of the children's stuff goes away because it's all built to OHP. The parents, there are a couple services that would end. and one's a mentor. But I mean, most of ours have both mentors, so they'd still be able to keep one. But really going through this program, you're building up your natural supports. So you're building those up through the NA, they have to do NA meetings or AA meetings every single week. You're building up that support in that natural community so that you don't need all of us at the very end. So that's the point of, getting through the program and building those steps to your future.
And when children are returned to parent, and a case is going to eventually close, isn't there a time after the kids are returned that DHS keeps it open just to make sure the transition?
The majority
And how
of our
long
cases-
is that?
the
I mean,
majority
I've
of our
had
cases are closed.
I have had a kid home now with a parent that's been in fostering since December, and her case is not closed yet, but she's been in home
Oh.
with the parent. I mean, it just kind of depends on where you're at and what concerns are there. Typically, if we weren't in fostering and they're not going through fostering, if we're on a regular case, we're going to return a kid home, and you're looking at probably 60, 90 days, maybe a
Okay.
little bit longer, and then you're going to look to close that case. But in fostering, and if you've got a parent that's committed, and I've got a parent that is committed right now to graduate that program. So she's been home
Oh.
since December, and I mean, she's probably got months out before she's going to look at graduation.
So you'll
So
keep, in that case, you keep it open until they graduate.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
I've got a
The
question.
court needs to have
Oh,
jurisdiction. So if a case closes before they graduate, the court no longer has jurisdiction.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, sometimes we get out sooner than we want to. But we also have self-sufficiency on the team. I think it's, she said the team members are listed in there, and sometimes parents are on TANF for, financial support or food stamps, whatever, what have you, jobs program. So they stay on and can walk alongside with the client if they need stabilization services through options, a mentor, if they want to carry that on, because they have those contracts too. The self-sufficiency program feels like, to me, just being on meetings I've been on, they're growing. We're trying to partner more to keep that person walking alongside them when, say, we're just exited out, even if we don't want to be, they still have somebody.
All our participants need to have a sponsor. So that helps with their continued sobriety and recovery after care recovery once they're done with treatment.
I think somebody had a question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I was just curious, the actual court hearing or time when all the participants are together with the judge is, how does that work? What does that look like? I mean, do all participants are present? Is it the same day, time of every week? What if someone has a job that conflicts with that court hearing time? How do those kind of things work?
So there's 5 phases. And so phase 1 through 3 appear 3 times a month. Phase 4 appears twice a month, and phase 5 appears once a month. Everyone goes before the judge who is scheduled for court that day. They have between 3 and 7 minutes with the judge. He discusses how things went for the week, how they're doing in treatment, what any barriers or goals they have for that week. If they've handled their business for the week, made it to their sessions, made it to their recovery meetings, submitted UAs when requested, then they're able to spin the wheel. And so we have a wheel and it has incentives listed. And some of them are court closet, create a memory. They vary depending on what I have funding for. The court closet has anything from diapers, wipes, to cleaning supplies, to clothing for kids or adults, to fabric softener, chapstick, shampoo. Then they have books for their children that they can read to their children. There's parenting books, there's adult books, there is hygiene kits for men and women. There are coloring books for adults and for children. They get sobriety coins for 30, 60, 90, 120 days. There are a thing called fishbowl. And so inside the fishbowl is a bunch of like bracelets, keychains with affirmations on them. And then after court, for right now, they fill out a phase sheet report for the week of what services they attended, what was their barrier, what was their goal, what's a highlight for the week, and the judge, if they turn that in on time, they get a candy bar. Judge Perez is giving them a candy bar as an incentive for that. So after court, they'll come up to me, and that's when they get their candy bars or their bus passes, cell phone cards for data, barrier request forms if they have a need, and they'll fill out this barrier request and tell me what it is, what's the need for, what they've done to try to accomplish getting it themselves, and any other issue that they have, they talk to me about.
Are other participants in the program in the courtroom when everybody's sharing their?
Yes, everyone's present.
Okay.
Unless there's an issue that needs to be addressed, then we'll take them at the very end. It doesn't happen often.
You mentioned that all of the parents need to have sponsors for this. You might have mentioned this already, but what is the process like for them selecting who their sponsor is? Is it kind of similar to like an SSP or something like that?
No, their sponsor is on them only, and it's through recovery meetings. So it's a sponsor that they get to help them with their substance use. It helps them. It's someone that they can call 24/7 when we're not available, when they're feeling triggered.
Oh. And do you help with transportation to court?
Yes. We had funds for a yellow cab, and so I assisted with transportation to and from UAs. Now I no longer have that contract, so now I provide
Bus passes.
gas cards.
If they
And
drive bus
and I-
passes, if they don't.
Now, I may have missed this at the beginning, but do the parents have to have housing, or what if they're homeless? Can they get in?
That's better. Then we can help them with stability of housing.
Okay.
So we find housing for them, and I assist with rental subsidy.
Okay, great.
What's the how long has the program been going on? And
2006, Judge Abernathy started it.
okay, I was just going to mention, I was mentioning to my wife that I used to work at the juvenile department. I remember, I think one of our cases, maybe their mother was in the program, and I recall that it was an affirming kind of a moment for one of the parents, and Judge Abernathy would get off the bench and come around and actually give the participant a hug. It was really cool.
That happens at graduation. They get pictures with the judge. We celebrate with food and drink, and the graduate gives advice to fellow peers. I have graduates from previous come to fostering attachment and tell our current participants their story and give their advice, and then tell them where they're at now. It's great for our participants who are struggling to hear that, to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that they too can succeed. There's a lot of guilt and shame around recovery. And so I think it's really important for them to not have to do this alone. And when they're on the regular dependency track, it's really a lot of work done alone. And so when they're in fostering attachment, they have the support of their peers who are also working through dependency court and the struggles that they're having with recovery and juggling a job. Their job is not to interfere with their services or appearances. And we have success with those participants who make that happen with their jobs. And there's a lot of jobs out there that when you're open and honest and transparent about what they're working through, they will work their hours around their services and appearance for fostering attachment. And the ones who do make sure that their jobs don't interfere are the ones that graduate and are successful.
It's nice too when we have senior participants and graduates come back and talk to our current participants and share their struggles and advice. And well, a lot of the same repetitive advice given is stick with it and don't give up, because there's times when it's hard and there's times that they're not going to like us, but it's like we're there with a tough love for them. And in the end, they realize that nobody gave up. Sometimes they just needed that push. But we hear that a lot from the participants that have been around and those that have graduated that come back and speak to our current participants and give them that advice. And it's good advice that we tell our participants as well, but it's nice to have graduate, somebody that's been through the process, to come back and tell them that. And it's like, yep, see, we told you. So.
Any other questions? No, we had a couple in the chat, but I think we got to those. I guess just lastly, if you, let's say that one of our CASAs has a parent or parents who they think would benefit from fostering attachment court, what would you suggest would be the best way to kind of broach the subject with them, or kind of bring that topic up with them?
We have brochures in the courtroom, so if they can grab a brochure, I'm happy if the brochure that I sent earlier isn't sent out to all the CASA, to you individuals. Sorry, it's been a long day already.
I mean, the handbook is attached in the things. If you guys can read through that and at least know what the program is, that's the best way to probably explain it to your clients. And if you think it's a good fit, take that handbook with you when you have a conversation with them so that they can see it. We'll also have that. You can reach out to me, Mike, Jenny, Jen, any one of us four, and we can go with you to have those conversations. I mean, there's many different ways we can get it, but really getting the word out there again about building this program back up to where it needs to be successful for all these guys. And I think this group is definitely one that I don't think I've ever thought about saying, hey, when you go and have a conversation with your clients, like, is this a possibility? So I think this is a huge aspect that we're missing in getting the word out for fostering is through you guys as well.
And you guys can always reach out to me and say, I've talked to my client and I really want them to come and observe. And we can schedule that. And maybe they'll come with you and you can observe with them.
So we wouldn't necessarily need to get the caseworker involved?
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, if you were reaching out to us or talking to them and then let your caseworker, if you guys were going to go on your own, yes, you could reach out to your caseworker and say, I've talked to them about fostering, they're interested. They would reach out to me and Mike.
Okay.
And then me and Mike would then, okay, you can observe at this time, whatever. If you reach out to any of us, me and Mike, Jenna Lee would let us know, like, so whatever, it would get back to the caseworker anyway, because we would all communicate to get those referrals done so that we can start talking about that participant.
Okay.
But for you to have a talk with them and bring them in to observe, it doesn't need to go through their caseworker.
Right.
Okay.
And you only need to talk to one person. You don't have to call everybody, talk to one person, and
right.
we'll coordinate and get it back to where it needs to go. But
yeah, gotcha.
I just have a confidentiality agreement to sign for when you show up, and it's easier for me because I'm so busy during court to know that you're coming ahead of time to look for you. So Tuesdays are good to let me know, not Wednesday morning.
Yes, and Jennifer did send me that brochure, and I looks like I completely spaced on sending that out to you guys. So I will go ahead and do that right now. And also probably just plan on printing off the pamphlets, having that set up in our office. So if you guys swing by for a case meeting or something, you can feel free to pick one up then.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Perfect.
Any last questions?
So if a parent or a client, they're already in the system in court and then asking to be transferred to FATC, or is like a mix of both, like the parent that, because you said you're getting them at the shelter hearings, like trying to grab them during the shelter hearings, right?
Between
But-
shelter and settlement, just to observe. So that, because best practices is grabbing them at 52 days from the date of shelter.
Okay, so it's not necessarily, so like, let's say, a person gets a DUI and they're in DUI court, but they've got like a really severe, substance abuse. And they also have their children in foster care. Could they, and if we were to talk to them about FATC, can they switch their case from DUI court to FATC? No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so you have to catch them right at the very beginning.
I mean, they can come into fostering attachment and they can get the help and the wraparound services while staying in DUI court. And then we could provide letters to that court about how well they're doing. It would probably look really good. But
then I'm sorry, go ahead.
they would still have to do both. They'd still have to do their DUI, and then they would come in because their kids are in foster care and they have that, substance abuse issue with alcohol, and they would do their treatment and stuff through us. But
So you're not transplant, if they're already in the system for something else, they've got two different things going on.
right.
We've had lots of participants who are on probation
Mhm.
and have criminal cases, and they do fostering attachment. We have Marion County Parole and Probation on our team.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think you're saying, can a parent go into the FATC at any time? And I think the answer is yes. It doesn't have to be at the beginning of the case.
No, but it's up to, if they're already going to TPR to have their parental rights terminated,
Oh,
then then
And their plan has to be reunification. So
Yeah.
if the plan has changed in court already to the concurrent plan, they no longer are able to come into fostering. Their plan has to be reunification.
okay.
Okay, well, we are just about right at 1 o'clock on the dot. So I just want to thank you guys again for joining us. I know I've really been looking forward to this one because I have heard about FATC and drug courts. And when Judge Perez comes in to do our community partner night for our new volunteers, I always hear her mention that. And so I've always kind of been curious myself to learn a little bit more. So this was absolutely fantastic. So thank you guys a lot for this. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day. And for our CASAs, be on the lookout. I'm planning on doing another CASA book club, hopefully late July, early August. So I'll be sending out some potential books for that, and I'll send you the schedule once I've kind of got that all ironed out. But thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys later.
Okay.
thank you
Thank
for
you all.
having
Thank
us.
you.
Thanks.
That's really good.
Thank you.